Hello, everyone. This is Coach Tim Campsall, and I'm excited to have a fellow business owner with us today. Something unique about my guest is he can gather people and grow communities, and then the communities grow and build upon themselves and help make a difference to everybody involved. In his downtime, he loves to play high-level volleyball and travels to tournaments in different cities. And he's most proud of not only surviving in a family business, but continuing to build the legacy while also having opportunities to make things that are uniquely his own. It's my pleasure to welcome Luke to the show today. Hey, Luke.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm great, thanks. Well, hey, let's start with having you introduce yourself. So tell us your full name and a little bit of your personal story, like where you were born and live and
Mhm.
about your family.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Northern Indiana. My name is Luke Walter, and I'm 28 years old. So I'm definitely more on the younger side for most entrepreneurs and business owners. I'm in more of a unique situation because it's a family business.
Mhm.
So I'm third generation in it, but we're adding businesses to it. So in the last couple of years, we've added a few different businesses and different departments within our industry. So it's growing quickly, especially in a very aging industry is the easiest way to say it. Piano industry is aging pretty fast.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of new opportunities that come up every day, and a lot of times there's too many opportunities. So that's kind of it's unique because we're trying to figure out which directions we want to go, and we're always kind of maneuvering. And that's the advantage of being a small business that's family owned. We can
Yeah.
make decisions quickly in a day where some corporations take weeks or months.
Yeah, indeed. So tell us about the high level volleyball.
Oh yeah, so we play volleyball, sand and indoor season starting up soon.
Okay.
So I play with a bunch of people at the local colleges. Still kind of in that age. I'm starting to age out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I play against a lot of the teams here and play with the guys. And then we play co-ed, so we'll go visit a new city like Nashville or Chicago and go play on the beaches there. And
Awesome.
a couple of those tournaments offer a few $1,000 prizes, so it's
Oh,
kind of nice when you win some money. So
yeah,
that's what
yeah, that's
we're doing.
great. So, Luke, what's a funny story that your family likes to tell about you that you'd be willing to share today?
Oh, yeah. In the business world, it's kind of funny because I grew up in the industry, so I walk around the piano factory and I had like my key employees that I would always love to go see every time I was a little kid and go see them. And one of them, he still works with us today, Matt. He would make me like wooden swords and the most random things in the factory because we had a wood shop there.
Sure.
And after a while, they told him to stop doing because I would walk around hitting things and other pianos, and then it quite like that.
That's awesome. So, you mentioned a little bit about being third generation. How did the business come about? Or how did it come about that you got involved in the business? And at what point did you have the confidence that you could be part of the ownership team and run a business?
So it was kind of I never really wanted to be in the business.
Okay.
I wanted to go medical. So I wanted to go to medical school and go that route and try to do like general practice or small surgeries. But my dad got extremely sick in high school.
Hmm.
So he had open heart surgery and everything. And that's when I was kind of like, I started to darken the door more. I did piano moves and technician work as a kid and growing up because I was very strong as like a high schooler.
Okay.
Baseball and all those sports definitely help with that when you move. So yeah, when he had surgery and everything, I kind of stepped in because we were still a small business at that point in the
Mhm.
shipping side.
Yeah.
So I'd help load trucks. I was driving forklifts. I mean, I was training drivers. I'd go over the road at 16, 17 years old and train semi drivers.
Okay.
So I train them with customer service. I train them with how to move pianos in and out of the showrooms, like packing them up so we don't get damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Always been kind of like a natural people person,
Yeah.
and I just don't get overwhelmed easily. So taking those shots as a young kid just never really bothered me.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
that's pretty much what got me into it, and I just never left. I fell in love with the flexibility of being a business owner,
Mm.
but also the rush of chasing the next deal.
Yeah, love it. So, tell us a little bit more about the company. Say the name. What do you guys do? How do you help people?
So our overall, we just actually reformatted. So now it's Walter Piano Group is kind of what everything falls under. So we have Walter Piano Transport, Walter Piano Store. The transport is a national, so we have semis. with 53-foot trailers and crane systems that are
Oh,
piano,
wow.
harps, and organs only. And then we have a store, which right now we're expanding a little bit. We're opening up another location
Hmm.
that's a little bit more modern, a little bit higher end product. And that will be its own multi-million dollar business within the next year or two. And then we have restoration, which I started when I was like 18, 19.
Mm-hmm.
So that's $1 million company alone by itself now. It's in our piano factory, but it's self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And then we have the manufacturing. Manufacturing is kind of in a transition right now. So first generation, that's what started us into the piano industry was manufacturing here in the United States,
Yeah.
which we're bringing back. So second generation, my dad's generation really got up and going. But during the '08 crisis, it kind of dissolved. They had too much upper management and not enough basically employees to support that upper management
Okay.
system. And sales and marketing, they kind of struggled. So now we're bringing that back in with a really heavy marketing assault on the market,
Mm.
along with just kind of changing the orientation of what we're doing and bringing in new products that are unique, but also fill the voids in the market.
Mm. Yeah.
So we're doing that right now currently, and we're working with our US plant, but we also have partners over in China,
Yeah.
which helps get our costs down, but also helps bring us engineers that we really don't have here in the States anymore.
Mm.
Like you're from Canada, I saw in your
Yeah.
different biography. So we actually work with a Montreal engineer, and
Okay.
he's designing some of our internal components that have like 7 more patents we just added.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Also getting us into the international licensing. So
Okay.
it's a product we'll be able to sell to every other manufacturer that does pianos to
Mm.
improve their products.
Yeah. So you've sort of been around the business forever since, fighting with wooden swords that you weren't supposed to have.
Yeah, exactly.
So at what point did you, um, and then you were planning on not being in the business, unfortunately, your dad had surgery, but and now it sounds like you just love it. So at what point did you have the confidence that you could, be the third generation owner?
It's me and my brother. So me and my brother are technically owners, but he's 18 years older than I am. So
Yep.
his kids are in upper high school, college, and everything right now. So he's just busy as all get out.
Sure.
I'm the single one with all the time. So it's kind of nice because we can transition back and forth.
Yeah.
But I definitely found that confidence when I was in high school,
Mm.
which is very odd. But I grew up in business.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
all of my cousins, grandparents, everyone's business owners or
Okay.
some type of political or lawyers, or it's just very business oriented
Mm.
family.
Yeah.
So when you grow up around it and that's all you hear
Yeah.
every single day, along with most of my friends, some of their families all own businesses and
Okay.
we are around each other all the time.
Yeah.
You
So it's
just
just in your blood.
exactly. So you think like it, but yeah, yeah, it's definitely one of those things. It's kind of built in. It's ingrained in how you think.
Uh-huh.
So it
Yeah.
makes it a lot easier to function and a lot easier to just go about it. But you also have to understand in business. Sometimes you're working 80 hours a week. Sometimes you can get away with working 20 hours a week.
Yes.
Especially in
Indeed.
trucking. The trucking side is, whew,
Hmm.
that's logistics is always pretty rough sometimes.
So, Luke, we know that successful businesses can get stuck at various stages of their growth journey. So, tell us about your biggest challenge and how'd you work through it?
I'd say our biggest challenge was COVID was a big boost for us.
Hmm.
But Google, the analytics of marketing, everything changed very drastically during COVID too.
Mm.
The type of business, how to run business, but our business was good, but we had a shortage of supply. We did really well in it. We could have did a lot better if we had more supply. Our shipping definitely took off, but post COVID, we had to readjust to normal times.
Oh, yeah.
That was definitely a challenge, but we also had to recalibrate all of our marketing. So in the last couple of months, we've definitely invested very, very heavily
Mm.
in websites, how our customer service plan goes, our CRMs, marketing strategy with making not just Google AI, but using landing pages throughout the whole country for we can turn off and turn on cities where, hey, this route isn't full. Let's make sure it's full.
Yeah.
Um, that's definitely helped us get our costs down in marketing. We were upwards of spending in the mid 20s every single month
Okay.
just on Google Ads.
Yeah.
And we
Wow.
dropped it down below 17,000 now.
That's
So that's
fantastic.
all profit. So
Yeah.
that's a big thing and it allows us to be more competitive in the market. There's one or two competitors we have on the shipping. and the shipping gives me business for everything.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps and be able to integrate that and lower costs, but also make sure we're reaching the customers that are actually going to use our service.
Yeah. Fantastic. So I'm gonna put you on the spot here a little bit and ask you to pick three people in your business journey as part of the ownership. So three people who you're most grateful for them being there to help with your business's growth. So who are those three people and how they help you?
Internally is definitely my mom and dad. They're very different personalities. My dad is definitely very hardcore engineer mind, very OCT, articulate. Like me and him both have the mind where we can design something in our heads and write it down, perfect design.
Oh, wow.
But my dad's not the most social, so that's where we're very different on that. My mom is extremely good at networking, talking to everyone, being able to adjust how she talks to certain people based on how their comfortability is.
Hmm.
So I learned body language from her, and definitely went into the psychology side of it with my grandfather, who had a doctorate in psychology.
Okay.
Learning that side of understanding how people react and how people are
Hmm.
definitely helps when it comes to sales and growth because you
For
learn how to
sure.
network with every different type of personality
Yeah. Yeah.
and culture. Like I love to travel. Like last year, I was in China, South Korea, Japan, India, and understanding cultures, especially in the US, is so important because it makes you knowledgeable of how to market to every different type of culture group.
Hmm. Yeah.
Which the US is kind of a mixing pot of everything. So
Yeah.
if you understand and respect and can talk to people and understand why they think the way they're thinking is huge.
Yeah, having that ability to read people and
Mhm.
or ask questions to seek to understand and because we're all you just mentioned that some aspects of you and your dad are the same and some aspects aren't, right? If we can take the time to understand differences, it
Mhm.
allows us to better communicate, right? And to your point in sales, it's a great skill to have, but in general, right, being able to interact with people is huge. And most problems that happen in a business is interpersonal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
And I mean, there's a lot of friendships I have too. So
mm,
I have friends that are in the hotel industry that flip resorts.
okay.
Um, I mean, their business is so different, but it allows me to think in a different way
Mm,
to allow new marketing portals.
yeah.
And friends in the heavy corporate side, like Carl Hillsdale was one of those people. He definitely opened my mind up to the corporate world,
Mm,
understand different businesses within the piano industry that aren't like ours, but
hmm.
how they think and how they operate.
Yeah,
And that's definitely what opened up my mind to be able to go into the corporate world of China.
sure.
Because you can't get into that world unless you know how they're thinking and why they're thinking the way they think.
Mm,
Like for us, like every day is a day by day. For them, it's quarterly.
okay.
Understanding how their numbers work and month end and all that is huge.
Yeah, fantastic. So the path to building a successful business has a lot to do with our mindset as well as our learning that you've just alluded to that. So what's been your biggest learning as a business owner?
Um, Man, I don't know if it's the biggest learning, but I think it's one of the most important thing. Your value is in your people.
Hmm.
The people you surround yourself and the people you hire and the people you keep around bring more value if especially revenue based. Like some companies they base off revenue per person.
Hmm.
Some people do it off of basically what they're producing every single month.
Yep.
For us, like we see the creativity someone brings, the outside knowledge someone brings. Knowledge is the one thing in our business. It's we're modernizing every single day.
Mm.
Bringing outside opinions of different industries that have already done that is
Okay.
huge.
Yeah.
So like I hired a new sales guy, which I'm training him on certain things, but other things he's training me on
Hmm.
just because he has some knowledge that I don't have.
Sure.
So always hiring people that are outside of my comfort zone, but also that are smarter than me in other ways. They bring new skills and specialties. That's always important.
Yeah. I love that some people can have a more of a fixed mindset of, right, I don't want to hire people that are smarter than me because it's going to make me look like I don't know what I'm doing. But you just
Mhm.
said the complete opposite, right? Like, hey, yeah, great. If I can hire an employee that's going to help me grow and learn as well, fantastic. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's people that bring value to the table. I
Mm.
mean, and that's where too, like we treat our employees extremely well. Like internal environment of a company is huge. A lot of people, sometimes it's chaos and that
Yeah.
admits chaos. So if we can have where everyone is able to communicate, like there's no fear of like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. Like if this, like that stuff just creates chaos and it creates more issues than it's worth.
Yeah.
So for us, it's having that good relationship with the staff and making sure they can come to us individually, like, hey, I'm having this issue at home, or hey, I'm having this issue at work. Can you help me solve this?
Yeah.
Instead of just hiding it and letting it just blow up one day.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Company culture is so incredibly important. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, most folks don't spend the time on it that it needs in order to build it for real, as opposed to, just having the piece of paper that's in the handbook or the words that are printed on the wall.
Exactly. Like my mom is kind of the one that specializes in that
Uh-huh.
because we're small enough we don't have HR, but we definitely have like one of our secretaries. She's kind of like the HR person that handles all the insurances and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
My mom, we kind of call her the company therapist.
Uh-huh.
So like her door is always open to the employees. Like a lot of times I'll find people just sitting in there and just talking for like 10 minutes.
Mhm.
They just need to get something out their chest and then they go back and they're more efficient because they don't have to worry about it.
Fantastic. It's important because
Mhm.
stuff happens and
Yep.
things get misinterpreted, and we have emotions because we're human, and not being
Exactly.
able to process through them can turn into dysfunction and
Mhm.
low productivity. And so yeah, that's
Exactly.
awesome. Um, Similar vein, little different area though. What piece of advice or guidance would you have for a business owner who's maybe listening to this and they're feeling discouraged or they're feeling stuck in the business? And so what thoughts would you have for them?
It's hard because it matters where are they stuck. Are they stuck with, hey, I can't find future business. Hey, I can't make the numbers work. Something's off. Um, my best advice is always have the best people around you.
Mm,
And that's a lot of times personal relationships that are business relationships as well.
mm,
Like I have a few friends that are very, very skilled in different areas of business.
yeah.
And even a couple months ago, I have a friend that's really good at just looking at the numbers and be like, hey, here's your bottleneck. So we went to him a couple months ago and we're like, hey, just take a quick look at our numbers. Like
Uh-huh.
in 12 hours, we'll pay you for the consulting, which he did it for free because I mean, we help each other out all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But he found my bottleneck like that because I'm there every day. I
Yep.
can't, it's
Yeah.
hard to look at it from an outside opinion,
Yep.
but never be afraid to take criticism from an outside opinion, but always fact check the criticism.
Fair enough.
Um, 'Cause there's definitely bad advice out there, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
sure. Yeah.
But having outside availability to look in is huge because they're going to give you a very honest opinion because they have no emotional ties to your
Yes.
business.
Yes. Yeah. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about a fixed mindset. So fixed versus a growth mindset, right?
Yep.
Growth mindset says, "Hey, I don't care if you tell me something's broken or not right or right. You can call my baby ugly because I want it to be better, right? I want to grow as a person. I want the business to grow." Versus fixed mindset is, "Oh, I don't want to be vulnerable and have somebody tell me, that something's broken or something's,
Yeah.
could be better because it's going to hurt my feelings." Right?
Yeah. I remember one of the first things I had someone tell me was I was always excited to like just like start the next thing and start the next thing. And I was really bad at finishing projects.
Mm-hmm.
Like that
Sure.
early on, I was just that's where my mind was, especially in my early 20s.
Yep.
So now it's definitely calculated of a couple different mentors of mine. They're like, hey, like you're great at starting them.
Yeah.
Let's just narrow that focus.
Yeah.
Like do the numbers, do the math. What's the most profitable, but also what's going to bring the best future growth to the company.
Yep.
And that's definitely helped me focus and be able to push us forward. And hey, these all work together. Let's do this together.
Yeah.
I used to try to bring in the little side thing. I was like, oh, hey, we're missing a little money here, but those little droplets aren't worth it. It's the
Yeah. You made me think of so one of the tools we use is Disk, and people are usually generally either right the big picture strategic thinkers, idea starters, right?
Mhm.
Or they're the ones who are better able to land the plane, right? Do the follow through, dot the I's, cross the T's, execution. And so it's important to, again, back to knowing people, right? It's important to know, right? our strengths and our weaknesses so that we can complement ourselves with somebody who is better at the things that we're not as good at. And right. And that's each of those areas are critically important in running a successful business. But generally speaking, one person isn't good at them all. They can force themselves to do, the areas that they're not great at. But if we have other people on the team who love that kind of stuff, it just helps us uh, accelerate faster.
Yeah, and it prevents burnout. Like if
Mm,
you're enjoying what you're doing, you're not feeling like you're forcing. I mean, in the beginning of pretty much any startup business,
yeah.
you're going to be doing things you're not going to want to do.
Yep. Absolutely.
But that's where you slowly start to replace yourself. But that's where every time you replace yourself, you have to add revenue.
Hmm.
So a lot of companies or a lot of business owners, they'll start at least they feel that pressure,
Yeah.
but they don't understand you're going to feel pressure every time you bring another person on
Yeah.
because it means you have to generate that much more revenue.
Yeah.
But the whole goal is you're freeing yourself up to do what you're good at
Yeah.
and you're hiring of what you're terrible at.
Yeah.
Like I have some business owner
Yes.
friends that are great at sales, but they are terrible at management.
Yeah.
So they find like more of a CEO position or COO position so they
Yeah.
can go do sales, which flies the business forward.
Absolutely. Yep.
They're
Yep.
great at networking and they're great at sales and they're great at bringing stuff in, but the daily operation is what they struggle at,
Yep. Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah. And you talked about the pressure and right of, well, we hire somebody, we have to cover it with sales. Well, there's a couple of things that also happen, right? Back to
Yep. Mhm.
that growth mindset, right? As soon as we think about bringing in somebody, the law of attraction happens, right? We created a hole that has to be filled, so the revenue has to fill that hole. The other thing about pressure is we're generally speaking, we're either growing or we're dying, right? And the only way that we're gonna grow is outside of our comfort zone. The only way to consistently stay without outside of our comfort zone is to have some type of pressure, right?
Yeah.
That says, yeah, don't go back to what you know
Yeah.
and trust, right? Stay in this little, and then lo and behold, our comfort zone expands because when we've been outside of it doing new and different things, we figure it out and become a better version of ourselves, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it definitely goes to play of finding what you're good at and knowing what you're not good at. A
Yeah.
lot of business owners feel like they have to be good at everything, and it's not always true. Even my family, like they're kind of old school when it came to business, and they're like, "Oh, you need to know everything and be an expert at everything." And I was like, "No," I was like, "That's not possible."
Yeah.
I mean, we're a multi-million dollar company, and some of these fine jobs that are hard to find people for is like
Mm.
we just need to hire right,
Yeah.
make sure they're trained right, and that we can hold our employees because we
Yeah.
pay them so well. And also, it's a good environment. People want a good environment to work on.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people usually leave is because bad management or the
Yes.
environment's not good.
Yes. Yes.
Usually
Yeah.
not financial.
Yeah.
As long as their bills are being paid, they can save a little bit, they're living well. Usually people don't leave jobs. Millennials and Gen Z are definitely a little bit different.
Sure.
And technically, I think I'm Gen Z, barely millennial. But within that, it's employee retention saves so much money. It's not even funny. Having to retrain, like some of my employees, it takes months,
Yeah.
months to train them.
I
And I
bet.
feel like they're still only at like half capacity. So
Yeah.
that's where that was something I learned young was employee retention is huge.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But not being afraid of losing someone that's bringing toxicity or something into the
Yeah.
environment that's going to kill everyone else's production rate by 10% or something.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Like again, you mentioned it, but making sure that we know what our culture is, clearly define it, and then we hire and fire based on cultural fit, right? Of
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
somebody's not aligned to the culture, guess what? We can't train somebody to be aligned to the culture. We can train skills, right? But generally speaking, people are hard coded. So they either fit it or they don't.
Yep,
Right?
exactly. And that's where like doing personality tests and all those things before you hire someone is so important.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't be too quick to hire. You
Yeah.
gotta do smart hires.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
every quick hire usually ends in disaster and you wasted a lot of
Yeah.
money. You wasted a lot of
Yeah.
time. So,
We
yeah, we
all have the stories of, yeah, but somebody was better than nobody. I was feeling
no,
desperate and
that's never
so,
true.
no.
I've never found that to be true. Like if I need someone like that, there's so many different ways to do it, but
Yeah. 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 You talked about um, the thought of, hey, I should know, or my parents said I should know how to do everything. It's interesting because there is a that is a barrier, like you said, and it happens more often than most people probably think. That that idea of know having to know how to do everything is how you start a business, right? You mentioned that earlier, right? You have to figure it out and do it yourself before you can hire. And that's the hustle and grind culture, right? Of figure it out, get it working, the business starts to grow.
Mhm.
I think the stat is something like only 9% of businesses ever make it to $1 million in revenue,
I
and
believe that.
and
That's
then less than 1% ever make it to five.
yeah, we're probably yeah, we're above five
And
between
usually what happens in that, right, is there's a huge transition that has to happen from the hustle and grind to actually, scaling strategies, right? And letting go and training people and right, getting out of the weeds and focusing on the business instead of in the business. And that's an incredibly different right mentality and skill set. And so it sounds like you guys are going through, you're on the other side of that. So that's awesome that you are implementing and forcing the hire good people and train them up and let go of the day to day and figure it out.
yeah, and it helps too because I mean we still have my dad's pretty much retired at this point, but he handles a lot of the background stuff of the trucking industry side.
Yeah.
My mom's still in the office pretty much every day, and then my brother and sister-in-law. My sister-in-law is great office management. She used to own a couple of
Okay.
restaurants.
Yeah.
They sold those off before COVID, and now she's full time with us just
Yeah.
because we're growing so fast.
Sure. That's awesome. Yeah.
But it's using people's personalities and using their skill sets where they need to be used.
Yeah.
Um, and it definitely has worked out well for us. But you also will go through growing pains. Like right now, we're going through another big growing pain
Yeah.
because we're at the point we have to invest a lot of money in some of these big startups that we have. We're
Yeah.
getting them to the next level, and but we're also very old school. We like to use cash as much as possible.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, kind of try to be recession proof as much as possible.
Sure.
Like our real estate, like we own our buildings, we don't rent our buildings, but
Okay.
there's definitely a benefit to renting too.
Sure.
Owning buildings, you get a lot of unexpected cost.
Sure you do. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a benefit to both, but we're a mix of old school and new school, and we're trying to adjust to that and
That's
find
awesome.
the best way to grow, but grow safely to protect kind of like the family legacy and the family business.
So you might have already answered this one, but let's see if anything else comes to mind. So as you think about the next year, what's
Mhm.
either your biggest challenge or most exciting growth opportunity that you aren't fully capitalizing on?
Um, there's a few of them. So I'd say the most exciting growth opportunity or something that's coming to be is our United States piano manufacturing
Uh-huh.
is definitely going to be pretty much in full go at that point.
Okay.
We'll have US and then we'll also have China, but we're bringing US manufacturing back to Elkhart, Indiana. So
Nice.
we've never really shut down officially, but it was pretty much shut down.
Uh-huh.
So we're bringing that back to play in the table of the United States, which brings a lot of quality, but also brings jobs here. So
Yeah.
we'll have to probably hire another 5 to 10 people just for the manufacturing side.
Very cool.
Um, but we're pre-training people within our restoration side, which is nice because it's not going to be as much of a grow pain. But that's going to be the big launch is manufacturing of Charles R. Walter back in the United States
Yeah.
and bring in a very high quality piano that colleges and residents can buy for affordable rate.
Yeah.
Like the biggest thing is our competition will be, I don't want to say names of competitors, but there's two other competitors. Um, will be half, if not a third of the price of their
Oh,
products
wow. Wow. Yeah.
just because the way we're doing it and the way we're trying to be efficient, cash, and keep it small.
Yeah.
Limited production, but the goal is to sell out 6 months out. So our employees are protected, we're
Sure.
protected, but we're still bringing a very high quality product to the market.
Yeah. Why is achieving that, bringing it back to the US? Why is that important to you?
The piano industry has been really shrinking over the last few decades.
Okay.
And for me, it's bringing it back to kids. I mean, honestly, right away, like piano is like learning another language, any type of musical instrument, not just piano. But we see it improves kids, like ADHD starts to disappear. It gives them something
Oh,
to
wow.
work with and improve over time. And it improves their focus, improves their relationship building. It gives them a nice hobby that they can have for life.
Mm,
A lot of clients that started when they're 8 years old and they still play in their 90s.
yeah.
So it's a long-term skill that keeps brain function. There's a
Yeah.
lot of studies from Harvard and Yale and all those different Ivy League schools that show it's usually about a 30%, 40%, and
Wow.
sometimes even higher, just in kids' focus and their ability to learn a new skill. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of surgeons use it because it gives them the mobility in their hands to be
Oh,
able to
sure.
do
Yeah.
small skills.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of improvement it can bring, and it's something that definitely has been missing from society a little bit. It's shrunk down.
Hmm.
So kind of one of our community projects is coming up is we're actually going to start up a music school here in Elkhart, Indiana.
Okay.
Be able to make it affordable for kids and do group lessons, but
Yeah.
also offer adult lessons. That's something that has been done in decades.
Yeah.
So we want to bring it back to a fun atmosphere where
Love it.
people can do a date night out of it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a group
Yeah.
lesson and like, hey, like our small group from church or like even my volleyball crowd, like there's like 100 people that already have on a pre-list. They're like, I want to do this.
That's awesome.
I've always wanted to try it, and they're like 5 or 6 weeks is not bad. Like it's a
Yeah.
small commitment, but it's something to get them in the door, and it's
That's
fun, it's
awesome.
entertaining, and gets them involved.
Yeah. I love it. Very cool. Last question, Luke. Jim Rohn, obvious, great past business guru. One of his quotes is, "We become the average of the five people that we spend the most time with." So,
Mhm.
as you think about that quote, what advice do you have for business owners who are feeling overwhelmed and trying to figure it all out on their own?
Um, Man, there's a lot of good like small business groups
Mm.
all over the country. Like even here, I can think of like five. I've never really joined any of them because like my small circle of friends,
Yeah.
they're all business owners.
Yeah.
If they're not business owners, they're bringing an outside opinion and they can go bounce ideas off of them, like a soundboard of a piano.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's nice to surround yourself with people that you can trust,
Yeah.
but also people that are asking you, hey, how's it going? Because a lot of business owners feel like they have to do it themselves.
Yeah.
It's not always the case. All you're doing is holding in all that stress instead of allowing those resources and those people to help you.
Yeah.
So I'd say like my five closest friends are one's a hotel owner, one is like a CEO of a company that does international work, and most of my friends are like 10 years older than me, like
Uh-huh.
good friends.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny just because that's who I connect with.
Uh-huh.
But surround yourself with people that are more knowledgeable than you and they're willing to help you.
Hmm.
And you bring a lot of joy to their lives too. Like if relationships are going right, like you guys are having fun together, like you can ask those questions just over dinner.
Yeah.
Like, and it'll relieve a lot of stress because they bring new ideas and they bring resources to the table.
Hmm.
Like, hey, I'm having marketing issues. Like, do you know someone that could come in and look at it for me?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. Very cool. Awesome. Well, Luke, sounds like you've been blessed with some incredible people who have, been part of your journey. If they were all here today on the show, what would you want to say to them?
Thanks for the help. I give a lot of praise to a lot of people that help me because a lot of them have done it without asking for anything.
Mm.
So it's huge just to be able to have them love me and definitely give me support from a side. And even step in at the hard times. A lot of them have stepped in, like redoing a store, and I'm doing the construction myself just because it's not quite in the budget to pay for the flooring. So I would lay the whole flooring myself.
Yeah.
So having buddies just show up and just help out, that's been a huge help.
That's awesome. Well, Luke, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, no problem. It was great to meet you as well.
Thanks for listening to the Self-Made is a Myth show. Please help spread this movement by liking and subscribing to our show and following us on Facebook and LinkedIn. To join our movement, go to bemadtogether.com. Okay, folks, that's a wrap. Please pay it forward and be sure to tune in next time to the Self-Made is a Myth podcast.